One.
Welcome back, Big Dog, Little Dog, the responsible bet. It's been a while, boys. You guys did one, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yes,
Yeah,
believe
without
so.
you.
We took off Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving.
Good Thanksgiving. Hope you guys were profitable over the holiday weekend. But we're back. I haven't been here in a while. And for a big week, championship week for college football. Um, any particular games you guys are excited about watching?
Yeah, dude, I want to see Oklahoma State versus Baylor, man. I feel like Baylor has been an interesting team all year. They've shown a ton of fight, and they kind of blew their chances of doing anything when they lost to
Oh,
TCU. But they've just been super solid, and I feel like Oklahoma State really has a chance to prove themselves. And if they win today, I think they have a good chance of getting in the playoffs. We'll see.
definitely. I am most interested in that game. Well, besides the Georgia Bama one, obviously, but that's the one I'm most excited to watch. We can start with that one then. Oklahoma State is 5.5 point favorites. Over under is set at 46.5. Dallin, any thoughts on this game? Any picks?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to take Oklahoma State -5.5 here. My boy Jared Bohannon. I mean, this is a Baylor team that was picked 8th preseason. Obviously, teams can improve over time, but just kind of speaks to the talent they have. Bohannon's a little bit roughed up. He has a little hamstring injury going on, so even if he does play, I expect him to be hobbled a little bit. I think Spencer Sanders has shown that he can be a good dual threat QB, throwing and running. Um, and Baylor has been shaky recently, especially in their wins. Lost on the road to TCU, a little bit of a close calls with a bunch of other teams as well. They did beat Oklahoma, um, but I'm still taking Oklahoma State 5.5. They won 24-14 last matchup, I believe. So
Mm-hmm.
should be an interesting game.
Josh?
Yeah, I don't have a pick on this. With the news of Bohannon being injured, that kind of does make me want to lean towards Oklahoma State. I do feel like Oklahoma State's a better team. Their defense is pretty awesome to watch. A bunch of talent. So I lean Oklahoma State here, but no picks for me.
Yeah, Bohannon has been on the injury watch. There hasn't really been any updates, so I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty game time decision. I'm expecting him to play, but I'm not as worried about that just because I think this is going to be a huge defensive battle. Like downside, it was 24-14 the first time, but Oklahoma State was at home. Huge home field advantage, I think, and this is at a neutral site. I think that'll be brought back down to a little bit of a even playing field. And they're playing at AT&T at the Cowboy Stadium. I think Baylor's gonna get a lot of fans down there. Maybe make it a more of a home atmosphere for them. But I just think 5.5 is kind of a lot for this championship. That there's a lot riding on it right now for Baylor as a program in general, and Oklahoma State with the possibility of getting into the playoff. I think both defenses are in the top five this year. Expect to keep it close. I got Baylor plus 5.5, and I got the under at 46.5. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be one of the best games to watch. Well, I guess this one is this tomorrow or this is on Saturday? Only Oregon's on Friday, right? I
Probably they
think so.
always put Pac-12
Yeah.
trash on Friday.
Yeah. So, Pac-12, not much right on the line besides a New Year's Six bowl for Oregon. I don't have anything on this. I think Oregon is pretty much just done, like as a team mentally. Like they're out of the playoff race. They don't really have much going for them right now, besides the New Year's Six bowl. But that's pretty minor compared to the playoff. So I don't got to pick. I expect Utah to win though. Charles, we'll start with you on this one, I guess.
Yeah, and I just shat on the Pac-12, but they just made a few changes. We got Lincoln Riley in the Pac-12. Maybe we'll see some actual good teams popping out of the Pac-12. I would have liked to had our boy Jack Bayless come on here talk about how he feels on that signing. What's going on with SC. They got a bunch of 5-star recruits already moving their commitment. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Pac-12 in the next 5 years. But on that note, I think Utah is going to win this game. They're the better team. They've been playing better for the better of 2 months right now. So I like Utah -3 here. Where is the game hosted again? Levi?
This one is in
It's in
Vegas
Vegas.
at
Vegas,
a
Vegas.
weekend.
Allegiant, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's sick. So I think Utah definitely is going to win this and cover.
I actually think that's not going to be sick because Pac-12 has no fans in general, and they're just not going to go, and it's going to be like kind of a dead game. That's what I'm
That's true.
expecting.
I mean, that's how it was at Levi too.
Levi's had a somewhat of a crowd for Stanford USC.
It was
It
somewhat
got
of a
kind of
crowd.
loud. Yeah, I don't know because that was still in California. Stanford is 20 minutes away. SC was just
Utah's got to be pretty close to Vegas.
Yeah, but it's not like one school is in the city.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Dallin, you got anything for this one?
No, not really. I think if anything, might lean the over. Just because I think these are two offenses capable of putting up points. At least Utah is in recent weeks. Oregon's looked pretty damn shaky, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really want to take an angle here, especially on the line, just because could certainly see Oregon just overwhelming them with their talent. But we'll see. Who knows?
That's true. They do have the talent on their side. All right, moving on. Let's see. Let's go to Big Four picks. Good, unpredictable ACC battle at the end from the beginning of the year. We got Pitt as 3-point favorites, over under 71.5. Both offenses kind of firing. Kenny Pickett doing pretty well. It's kind of on the outside looking in for the Heisman watch. Both defenses not great. Truss, you got any thoughts on this one?
Absolutely no thoughts in this game. I do not know much about either team. Although apparently the Pittsburgh quarterback is pretty good. Maybe the Seahawks should draft him. I don't know. I'm looking for a replacement for our replacement level quarterback right now. So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I don't have a pick on this game. Over's enticing, but I feel like the biggest overs the line set this season haven't even come close to hitting, which makes me want to take the under, but I don't have a pick right now.
Actually,
Dallin, you ride on this?
Dallin's got -3 here. I think I'm gonna ride with Dallin.
I want die bets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the -3 here. I do think Pickett is a better quarterback than Hartman. I do think A.T. Perry is a fucking beast though for Wake Forest. A little bit scary, but I think Pittsburgh just is a better football team at this current moment. Wake Forest did go to Clemson. They kind of got trounced by Clemson, who hasn't been having the best season recently as well. I think Pittsburgh is a better football team right now, so I would take Pittsburgh -3 here. Maybe look for a little money line angle that gets too.
I like that.
A little bit too scary there.
Nice. I like it. All right. Let's go to Iowa, Michigan. I'll let Dallin start off with this one.
Yeah, I mean, no real thoughts on this one.
11 over under 43.5.
Yeah, I mean, no real thoughts on this one. I think Iowa's offense is hot garbage. I think McNamara is a good quarterback. He has been pretty shaky in the past years, but this year he's looked pretty damn good for Harbaugh. So if I were to lean anything, I would probably lean Michigan -11, but no pick on this game for me.
Big Dog?
Yeah, no picks. I do like what I see out of Michigan. Their defense, Aiden Hutchinson, Ojabo, just all around, they're just dominant. And that's something you haven't seen from Michigan in recent years. I think it's the start of something special. Give me Michigan -11 right here.
Very nice. I am on that as well. I'm all over Michigan in this game. Weird. The start of the season, I loved Iowa. I picked them early a couple games. I think the Iowa State game, I was all over them, and then they just kind of fell apart. Offense, like Dallin said, is just hot garbage in shambles. Defense is pretty good. I don't think it's as great as people are really talking it up right now. The last few weeks, they weren't playing great teams. Nebraska, they gave up 21 in a close one. Illinois, they gave up 23. Not like super great offenses that they're putting up points against. I think Michigan is clicking right now. Their run game, they just ran it straight down Ohio State's throat. I think Haskins is going to have a great game. They're going to be able to move the ball. And McNamara, he doesn't turn it over. I think the team has 9 turnovers on the season maybe, and only 3 of them are picks from McNamara. So I like the 11 points from Michigan, and I like the over as well. I think if Iowa can just maybe get like a garbage time score, if they hit 10 points, I think it's gonna be like a 35-10 game, and that would hit the over. And I think Michigan, they're 10-2 against the spread on the season, so I like them here too. It's a legacy game for the school and for Harbaugh. Harbaugh's like only chance really in his tenure at Michigan to like get into the playoff to win a championship possibly, and then just Michigan as a whole like hasn't had any success in the college football playoff. I don't even think they've gotten there, right? So this is just huge for the entire program. And I also heard that Dave Portnoy put in a sizable donation for a lot of students to fly down. So I think a lot of Michigan fans will be in Indy. So that'll be interesting too.
Michigan fans do not need money.
Yeah, well.
I mean, to that point as well, they gave up 21 points to Nebraska. Nebraska had their backup QB in as well. So kind of shows how poorly the defense has been playing recently.
Yeah, exactly. Aiden Hutchinson, off chance to win Heisman, you think?
No way.
No way?
No.
Interesting. All right. Well, we'll circle back to that. But game of the week, obviously, Georgia, Alabama. Alabama 6.5-point dogs. First time they're not favored in I don't know. It was like 2 or 3, like maybe 5 years even, something ridiculous. Over under at 49.5. I'll start this one. I don't have a pick here. I'd lean Georgia at the 6.5. I think that Georgia is right now what Alabama has been in the past. They're just head and shoulders above everybody else. Defense is insane. Their lines, they just dominate on both sides of the ball. But that being said, betting against Alabama just never seems to go well for me or for most people, I'd say. So I'm gonna stay away from this one. Dallin, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, just give me Bama with the points, guys. I mean, it's an interesting one. I do agree with you. Georgia is, just head and shoulders above everybody else. I believe this line opened actually at Georgia -3. It's been bought all the way up to 6.5, from what I've seen. So I think the number has moved to a high enough point here as to which I can buy back Alabama 6.5. I do think this game will be closer than a lot of people do make it out to be. So it's the 6.5-point spread, about a 1-possession game there, so I'll take it.
Nice.
Yeah, I picked Georgia -6.5 here. I've seen some tweets. I think his name's like Big Cat or Barstool Big Cat. It was like one of his big bets or lock-ins of the year. And I kind of agree. I've watched Alabama too many times this season. I just don't think they have the weapons of years past. Or I don't think they have the O-line, apart from their left tackle. I think Georgia's defense kind of suffocates Bryce Young. It'll be his first game against. Well, this is going to be the best defense he's played in his life. So it'll be interesting to see how he does against that. But I'm going to go, Georgia -6.5.
Interested to see Bryce Young, how he fares.
Alabama's offense hasn't been too great.
He won the championship. He didn't have a great game. Alabama's defense is just unreal, and it just hasn't been that way this year. So should be interesting to watch. You guys got any other any picks on this championship weekend?
So
the biggest one. You guys
tomorrow. Oh, Houston, Cincinnati. I guess we can talk about that one first. Don't really have a pick for that one. Have not watched Houston all year. I'm going to be completely honest with you. No clue what that football team looks like. Cincinnati I've watched a few times. They looked pretty impressive against Notre Dame. In conference play, they should be blowing people out realistically, but it's been a little bit closer on most matchups. So I am staying away from Cincinnati at -10.5, over under 53. Don't really want to touch either of those numbers.
Trust anything?
Pass.
Yeah, I'm staying away as well. Cincinnati's just been super shaky. It is their win and stay in. I'm assuming now that the committee's put them in the top 4. I'm assuming if they win, they're not going to get jumped. So there is a lot riding on this. But Houston, like, I don't know if people really expected them to be as good as they have been. Dana Holt, was it Holgerson? Holgerson. Doing a good job over there, but yeah. Dallin, any other games you got on the card for college football?
So I'm just gonna run down two games that not major conference games, not power games, but I think Western Kentucky UTSA should be a very interesting game. I do have Western Kentucky -3. This line opened at, I believe, -1.5 for Western Kentucky. It's been bought up to -3. Still going to take that number. I think Bailey Zappi has been balling this year, 52 touchdowns on the season. And UTSA, their quarterback play has been shaky recently. They've had some really close call wins as well in a not very good Conference USA this year. So give me Western Kentucky -3. I think they step up here and get the dub and take the Conference USA championship. And then the other game that I have as well is Appalachian State, Louisiana Lafayette over 53. App State has been playing much better recently since they went to Louisiana Lafayette and completely blown out. I do think this number is a little bit low. Last time they went to Louisiana Lafayette, they lost 41-13, still hit the over there, 54 points. So this number set at 53 is kind of interesting to me. I do think this game is going to be a lot closer, so I think App State definitely put some points on the board here against a pretty good Louisiana Lafayette squad.
Very nice. Charles, you got anything else on the card this week?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, I do not have any other picks as well. App State at -3 is kind of interesting. On the other side, Louisiana +3. I know, like you said, they've been playing a lot better, App State, recently since they lost and got blown out. But I just think overall Louisiana's been consistent all year, and I'm kind of leaning towards that right now, but not sure if I'm going to pick that. Hilarious to me that USC and Cal are playing on Saturday as well. No one's going to be watching that.
Classic makeup game.
That's just ridiculous. I do have one little parlay that I've flirted with. I put in a small responsible bet. It's the Notre Dame gets to the playoff despite Brian Kelly leaving, which would be hilarious. Brian Kelly just notoriously getting blown out every time he makes it to the playoff, never having a shot at a championship. But the way I see that happening is a money line parlay. Baylor, Georgia, Houston, and Iowa all win, and Notre Dame, without a conference championship game to play, they sneak in there, and that would I think that'd be hilarious if they ended up winning the whole thing. But plus 68-14, so a little value if you're a Notre Dame fan out there. Sliver of hope.
Seems a little
I
tough.
wonder if the odds for Notre Dame to make the playoffs is higher than that parlay, though. You'd probably have to look at that.
Interesting. I have not checked that out. That's good to know. I didn't look at that at all. I do want to ask you, so the Heisman, who do you guys think is the front runner and who's going to come out on top? I don't think any of the quarterbacks have really.
Who do you think is going to win, Yosh?
I have no idea. I don't think it should be a quarterback this year, though. I honestly think. Who's the Michigan State running back?
Kenneth Walker.
I think him, and I actually think Aiden Hutchinson should be I would pick one of those two guys.
I'd probably just have Bryce Young winning it, and it looks like right now.
I assume Bryce Young's going to win it, but he hasn't even been that great, and neither has any of the other quarterbacks.
Right now he's the favorite. Kenneth Walker plus 2,000 on most books, and Aiden Hutchinson plus 1,600. So
yeah, I'm assuming Aiden Hutchinson has to go off here. And just because it's a dominant quarterback award, but it just doesn't seem like it should go to a quarterback this year.
I mean, dude, Bryce Young had a monster game one game ago. But he hasn't been super consistent for sure.
What if they lose to Georgia and he plays okay? in the big moments, where has he even like shined? Where was his like Heisman moment?
They'll say the 97-yard drive against Auburn, even though maybe they shouldn't have been in that spot.
Like,
but that was a pretty
I
nice
get it's
drive.
the Iron Bowl. I get it's a huge rivalry, but that like with how the season's played out and like how the teams are, like that shouldn't have been a 4 overtime game.
Fair enough.
Auburn's 500 on the season. Like they were 20.5-point favorites. That's just doesn't seem like he like did a lot. He had that drive, but like the rest of the game, he wasn't like great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. That's my take. Anyways, move on to NFL Week 13. Kind of an ugly slate in my opinion. Not too many big games. Start cards at the Bears. Bears 7.5-point dogs. I think it opened at like 8.5 maybe. But Murray and Hop expected to play. Over under 43.5. I don't got anything. I don't think Dallin has a pick. Tross, what is your thought?
Yeah, to me this feels easy. Cards -7.5. Yeah, we're getting the return of DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray. Arizona's coming off a bye. They will be healthier. We saw the Bears last week. I don't even think they should have won that game against the Lions. I don't think it really matters again who starts, Andy Dalton or Justin Fields. I just think Arizona is so much of a better team all across the board that this game won't be close. But we'll see. I'm taking Cards 7.5 here.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. Like I want to take the Cards. Seems like why would you take the Bears? But then there's a part of me that's like maybe it's too easy.
Well, Arizona's defense is just still I feel like underrated, man.
But I think Colt McCoy has kind of overexceeded his quota of high performance games. So if he plays, I'm skeptical on him.
Kyler Murray's supposed to play.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We got Dallin's team, the Colts, going to Houston to play the Texans. Shout out to me. Just want a quick shout out. Grabbed the Colts at -7 last week, expecting the number to move up, and it has since moved up to -10. Over under at 45.5. So I got the Colts -7. I just think, like similar to the Cardinals and the Bears, I think the Colts are a way better team. They trounced them the first time they played, and Wentz was still like sad Wentz at that time. He wasn't even good. I think Tyrod, since he's returned, he hasn't looked anything special at all. I don't even know if he's been like a step up from Mills Mania, but mostly JT is just, and the O-line is just rolling right now, and I think that's just going to continue to go. So I got the Colts -7 here. Dallin, you got any thoughts for the home boys?
I mean, it's -10 on the road. I don't really know if I want to touch that. Maybe -7 seemed like a good number to get in on, so I probably would have taken that. But because it's moved up to 10 now, 2-possession game is a bit too many points for me, so I'm just not going to touch it.
Hey, Dallin, have you been watching the mid-season
Hard Knocks
on the Colts?
No, I haven't. Not at all.
Oh, I haven't watched it either, but I figured you would watch that. I feel like if the Seahawks were doing it, I would definitely watch it.
No, I'm just a fake fan.
I
didn't even know they were doing it.
I mean, no. If you didn't know, then no. But Frank Reich has had some cool sound bites. I feel like it'd be worth watching if you're a Colts fan.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out.
If you're bored. If you have time between all your college basketball research.
Chas, you got anything on this game?
No, I don't. I feel like Colts take it here, but +10 on the road, like Dallin says, it just feels like a little too much. Texans defense, I feel like is not terrible. I don't know. I'm just staying away. Division game, usually closer. Well, staying away.
I looked at the slate initially, and my first thought was it seemed very, very chalky. And that was kind of my thoughts, and my picks kind of reflect that from the ones I've got, but we'll see how it goes. Bengals hosting the Chargers. 3-point favorites, over under 50.5. Tross, we'll start with you. We didn't have any picks, but you're on the right side last week, but you're on the right side of the Bengals and Steelers, as me and Dallin are not. So any thoughts on the Bengals this week?
Yeah, I don't have a pick written here, but I'm kind of thinking about the over here, 50.5. I feel like both teams have worse defenses, and I think both teams have overrated defenses. I know Bengals played well against the Steelers last week, but it's Big Ben, so you can't really read much into it. I think this has a decent shot of going over, but I'll have to look into it a little bit.
Yeah. Dallin?
I'm on the Bengals -3 here. It's a very chalky pick. I feel like it might be a trap. Who knows? But the Chargers have just looked so bad last week offensively. They were pretty damn good against the Steelers 2 weeks ago. But last week they looked terrible against the Broncos. Couldn't score to save their fucking life. The Bengals have looked really good. They looked really good last week. Seems like an interesting spot to buy Bengals -3, but definitely a trap. But I'm going to take the trap. Why not?
Yeah, I feel like I might be chasing the Bengals a little bit after we were on the Steelers last week. Just couldn't be more wrong. But like you said, the Chargers, I think that they just look completely out of sync offensively. They've only really played decent against the poorer teams. Against the better teams, they haven't looked that great. I get the Bengals defense isn't the greatest and isn't a top tier defense at all, but I just think their offensive struggles are gonna continue this week, and I think the Bengals and Mixon are gonna roll. The Chargers are giving up 145 yards on the ground. That is I don't know if that's the top of the league, but that's insane. Mixon is gonna have a field day, and I think I'm also on the under 50.5. I think the Bengals might win big, but I just don't think the Chargers are gonna score very much at all.
Wow.
No, we'll see. Vikings Lions. I didn't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. Lions 7-point dogs at home. 46.5 is the over/under. Dallin, I don't think you really have anything on this.
Hell no.
So we'll go to Big Dog.
Give me the Lions, baby. I wonder what the Lions are against the spread, but these are two teams that both play to their competition levels. I know Vikings have been kind of, played better the last few weeks, but I think we got to put some respect in the Lions' name. Lions at home, Lions fans always show up. The back end of their defense is playing way above their expectations, way above their skill level. I think Lions +7. Give it to me.
What do you think the Lions are against the spread?
I think the Vikings get too cozy running the ball. 3-8, 4-7.
They're actually 7-4 this season, which is an underrated stat for the Lions. They've low key been covering some games, because the Ravens game, the Bears game
last week. They covered.
They're 7-4 against the spread this season.
Yeah, so give me the freaking Lions, dude. Dan Campbell knows this Vikings team. Mike Zimmer is gonna get lazy with it. This is a +7 all the way. Absolutely.
Interesting. I would lean Vikings, but best of luck there.
Leaning Vikings is, I think, overrating your Niners a little bit.
We'll get to that one. Giants at the Dolphins. Dolphins 4-point favorites. 40.5 is the over/under. I remember why. I'll hold off on this one. Tross, what do you got on this one? Anything?
No, but I do have some words of advice that I would stay away from Dolphins -4 here. I have this feeling the Giants' defense is very, inconsistent, but I think they have a high ceiling. Like last week, they showed up. They played really well against the Eagles. My theory is that they do really a good job of disguising coverage and playing smart defense, and they can take advantage of less, mental players. So We saw it with Jalen Hurts. We've seen it a few times. We saw it with Russell Wilson last year. Just not super guys who are super locked into the mental. And Tua, I don't know, man. He makes some questionable decisions. I feel like this defense can really do well against Tua. Not that I don't like Tua, but I'm a little cautious of this line.
That's interesting. With I've been seeing a lot of hashtag trade for Tua's coming out of the Big Dog account.
Yeah, I know, but I still want hashtag trade for Tua. I just feel like this Giants defense. He has no familiarity against them. I really like what's his name, the DC for the Giants. I feel like he does a really good job. Yeah. The Giants' weakness on defense is their edge rush, and that might be neutralized by the Dolphins having such a bad O-line. So,
dang, you might need to drop a little bet on this, and you sound pretty confident. Talent, I know.
The thing is, I bet on the Giants a couple times this year, and every single time I bet on them, they don't cover. And every single time I don't, they cover or win.
Well, you got to hit at some point, right? I think you should throw a bet. I know Dallin is feeling the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, super chalky pick again, but looks like Dolphins -4 for me. If I reconsider by the time the game rolls around, we'll see. But
I hope I'm wrong because I want Tua to do well.
I just think the Dolphins are on a roll right now.
Yeah.
They're on fire. I
was going to save it, but Dolphins -4. This is my lock of the week.
Oh, this is your lock?
This is my lock of the week, man. I am all over the Dolphins. Giants is so shaky. Dolphins are on a 4-game winning streak. They're rolling right now.
I would say it's not because of their offense, though. I mean, their defense has been elite.
Yeah, but if it's their defense, that's even better, dude. Danny Dimes has a neck strain. He's very inconsistent. He might not be able to run with that, and it's gonna really reduce his impact on the game. And even if he doesn't play, then we got big neck Mike Glennon coming in, and that's just tragedy waiting to happen.
That's fair. Can't you just imagine Dolphins scoring like 10 points next week? That's all.
I mean, maybe, and then the Giants score like
3.
Like 3.
One field goal.
Maybe they score 5, and then Dolphins still
off a pick.
Dolphins have, like you said, their defense has stepped up. They have 11 forced turnovers.
That's true.
In 4-game win streak. They just thought.
Offenses look much better as well.
Lock it in.
As of late.
Lock it in. I think Tua's been.
All right, lock it in then. Lock it in.
He's only had 1 pick in the past 3 games since he's been back. So.
All right, let's do Eagles Jets, boys. Let's do Eagles Jets.
Yeah, Eagles Jets. Another dog for a Kahi here. Eagles are 7-point underdog. Or no,
what?
Jets are 7-point underdogs.
I see Akahi has written
Kahi always picks it wrong. I'm assuming he wrote the next one as well. He has Bucks +11.
I just copied the number. That's why.
He gets some pretty crazy lines. Got to figure out where he puts his bets or not.
It's an alternative spread.
Maybe it's in the Little Dog Sportsbook. Might have to tap into that. But I don't have anything. This is another game I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole.
I'll be quick. Oh, okay.
Nope.
I got Eagles -7 here. I think Eagles struggled last week. Obviously they lost. I think there was a few plays they still could have won that game. Rager caught the ball. I just feel like the Eagles are a much better team here. Jets are, I think, 32nd against the run, or one of the worst teams against the run in the league. And Eagles have a great line. They can control the ball, running the ball with Hurts, with Sanders, Scott. I think this is just a game the Eagles control the whole way. Zach Wilson is, he not very good. He's not a very good quarterback, and he just makes bad plays. And I feel like there could be some timely turnovers as usual that will give the Eagles a lead. And they've taken advantage of poor teams this year and really blown out some teams. So I'm taking Eagles -7.
That's true. It's interesting. You're still riding Sanders. Don't know if it's just because you draft him every year in fantasy and he never pans out, but
I mean, he's a good running back, man. He just needs opportunity.
Bucks at Falcons. Bucks 11-point favorites, over under 50.5. I don't have anything. Dallin doesn't have anything. This one's all you, Big Dog, again.
Dude, how are we not taking the Buccaneers here, man? Freaking Dallin took the Buccaneers against the Giants. The Falcons are a much worse team. Maybe not much worse, but the Falcons have a negative 120-point differential or something like that. Somehow they have 4 wins. They're not good. No Calvin Ridley. This Buccaneers defense, I think, is kind of gelling with the backup squad they have in there. They're getting healthier. This is kind of the time where Tom Brady starts turning it on, right? Their offense looked pretty good against the Colts last week. I feel like this is going to be a repeat of the first matchup, something like 40-20.
Yeah, I could see it. I could easily see it. It's a lot of points. Leonard Fournette's been running well, and maybe they'll just run him a lot. I just don't want to start the game down 11-0.
I don't
Tom Brady
particularly like betting the Bucs on the road. I've realized they're 1-5 against the spread on the road this year, I believe. Looking at their away games, the only game they covered was last week against the Colts. So don't really want to bet on the Bucs as much as, to your point, Tom Brady is gonna start turning it on as we get closer towards the playoffs, but don't really want to touch this line at double digits. I don't know.
We'll see. All right, moving on. Jags at the Rams. Rams 13-point favorites. Over under 48. Another big spread. Dallin is touching this one. What do you got?
I'm touching this one, guys. Just for the reason of, the Jaguars are just absolute putrid dog shit. I think we've went over that multiple times. Absolutely a dumpster fire. Urban Meyer should get fired by the end of the season, if not soon.
What about that Bills
win, though? The next 2 or 3 games. That Bills win 9-6, guys. huge dubs. 9 points, and they won the game.
Hey, the Bills defense is very good.
The Rams are going to be pissed. They're playing in the dome, at home. They've got they're coming off a loss in Green Bay last week. I do think that they just absolutely steamroll them this week. ODB gets his footing a little bit. No Bobby Trees, unfortunately. R.I.P. Bobby Trees.
Is ODB is he healthy? OBJ?
Yeah, I mean he should play, right?
I don't know. I just remember watching last week and he couldn't even run. But
I think they're a 50-yard bomb.
Yeah, I mean they got to roll them out there every week as you get closer to. I mean that's they got to win every game pretty much, the Rams, right, to stay in the hunt, because they got to keep pace with the Cardinals. So
yeah,
I do think that they just blow them out 20+ points. Who knows?
Right on. All right, Washington football team going to Raiders. Raiders are 1.5 point favorites. Over under set at 49.5. Alan, we'll keep it with you.
Hey, listen, I mean this line open, Raiders -3. Makes sense. They are playing at home, but it has seen significant line movement. Raiders are only 1.5 point favorites now. And I'm on the football team money line. Their defense has been stepping up recently. Taylor Heineke has looked like a sub-elite quarterback right below that tier.
Oh, I didn't know recently. I like that. Yeah, I was going to say, he's been balling.
Just right below that tier of elite quarterback play. He's been balling. He's been balling recently. And I think he's been heating up down the stretch. So I will gladly take football team money line here. None of the Raiders' home games particularly excite me. Doesn't seem like a real home field advantage, just like the LA home games as well. So just going to have to take football team money line here. Seems like the play to me.
Yeah, I think that's a bold play. I think just looking back to last week, if the Seahawks start Geno Smith, that's a dub. So what does that say? A Seahawk-led Geno Smith team wins that game. If a quarterback who could hit an open throw wins that game, it's not super. Washington really didn't inspire me with their win last week. But I mean, that's like, yeah, they did beat the Bucs. That's I think that's a much better victory than they almost lost last week. Actually, crazy enough, they almost did.
Did you even give your pick?
No. I just think it's a bold bet because I'm going right now under 49.5 Washington football team versus the Raiders. I think Washington has done a good job of controlling the possession, controlling the ball. This is Taylor Heineke making smart throws. When he has to throw down the field, we see what happens. Like Blitz Boy picks him off. It's not that great. But if he can do the short throws, he can.
Good ball.
Yeah, it was a bad throw. But he's very good at controlling the ball, and their O-line is very solid. I don't know if Schweitzer is going to be back this week, but they have one of the most underrated O-lines. They'll be able to run the ball. They don't lose a lot of yards on carries. I think it's just be a lower scoring game. The Raiders haven't been super explosive ever since I guess last week they were pretty explosive, but Dallas is Dallas. But prior to that, they've been struggling. Give me the under, 49.5.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to touch on this too much.
Also, I don't know if I said Washington highest time in possession like the last several weeks. So that usually leads to a lower scoring game.
Some would say the Raiders have been extremely explosive in the last month or so. Who knows? All right, we move on.
We've been talking a lot about these shitty teams. Move on. Ravens at Steelers, big divisional game. Ravens 4.5-point favorites, over under 44. At first I was like Ravens, and then I was like, you know what? Nah, I can't bet on the Ravens right now. They look like doo doo. Akai, you don't have anything on this one? Any thoughts?
No, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Ravens to win, Steelers to cover. I don't know. I don't know if I'd make a pick though. I don't know if I put money on it.
I don't like Dallin's pick here. Dallin, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the under here. Big Ben is basically geriatric at this point. Guy needs to be in a retirement home. Can't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. And, the Ravens haven't been looking that great on offense as of recently. Running back Lamar Jackson threw 4 picks last week.
Great.
Two pretty solid defenses, I will not lie. It seems like 44 is an interesting total here, so I will just take the under.
Is the Steelers' defense actually that good this year?
I mean, Watt's it's his second week back. I expect him to have a little bit more impact this week.
All right.
They're definitely not bad. I just think they are overrated. Or people, I mean, last year they were top 3, maybe the best.
That's what I mean. They have this persona and stigma
top
around
15.
They haven't been performing that well.
Last year, it also helped that they could move the ball a little bit better.
True.
So their defense wasn't on the field all the time. So.
All right. Broncos at Chiefs. Chiefs 9.5-point favorites, on a roll right now, over under 47. But Dallin doesn't seem to think that's going to continue.
Well, the Broncos are also on a roll.
I mean, it's a divisional game. I'm just going to take the 2 possessions here, plus 10. Maybe buy up the point at plus 10. Just because, the Chiefs, if you look at their body of work throughout the course of the season, hasn't particularly been, impressive by Chiefs standards. They have been playing well as of recently, as you said. They're coming off the bye week this week. They have 2 weeks to prepare. Should be pretty interesting. But I think that defense is Swiss cheese. Like we said, Daniel Sorensen probably – I don't know where PFF grades him, but he's got to be at least bottom 3 safeties in the league just by the eye test. So
interesting.
Yeah, their defense –
and the Broncos have the weapons. So
I think their defense has actually stepped up big time, and that's the reason they're winning these games.
Yeah, they're not great. Definitely they played better. I mean, it was a very low bar that they set early on. I do like the Broncos here. I think that even against their last game, I believe KC played Dallas, right? Their offense was not very impressive, and we saw what the Raiders did to Dallas. I think Dallas's defense isn't super phenomenal at any point. So, you kind of see they're still kind of out of sorts in offense. We'll see how Broncos attack, but I know Vic Fangio has had success against the Chiefs, so give me that plus 10, baby. I'll ride it with Dallin.
Yeah, I'm kind of talking myself into the under at 47 here. Both defenses pretty solid. I think the Chiefs have completely turned around their defense. They've held the Cowboys to 9 and the Packers to 7 in the past 2 of the 3 weeks, I think. I think they're much different than from the first couple games of the season. But we'll see. Pats at Bills, big Monday night game. Bills 2.5-point favorites, over under 42.5. Pats heavily overrated in the eyes of the Big DLD crew. Akahi, you must have a lot to say on this one.
I mean, God, there's too much to say. If you go back to last week's show, I talk about the Patriots and how they just don't have any weapons, man. I mean, Mac Jones has been making it work. They do a lot of crossers, a lot of play action, a lot of guys running free. I just don't know if they could take advantage against a really solid Bills defense that, I know they just lost Trey White. We'll see how that affects him. But they're really solid in the back end, and their linebackers, Matt Milano, is having one of the best seasons for any linebacker this year. I think he should be at least first or second team All-Pro. And I think the only part I'm a little bit worried about is Josh Allen, who's been inconsistent for sure. See what Bill Belichick can scheme against him, but I liked what I saw from the Bills running game last week. I think if you can run on the Patriots, you can do something decent. Yeah, I want to see Mac Jones play a good defense, man.
All right, Dallin, what do you got?
I mean, I'm also on Bills -2.5. I just had to laugh at the Bills running game comment because that running game is practically non-existent to me.
It is, but they ran for, I believe, like 150 yards last week, which is pretty solid for the Bills against the Saints, who have I believe the third-ranked rushing defense.
Yeah, but you're playing against Trevor Siemian, dude. Like, come on. All right. Anyway, yeah, you know what? I just like the Bills here. I think they bounce back after losing to the Colts at home. They absolutely destroyed the Saints. That was kind of expected, though. I do think they show out for Bills Mafia here. And like Akahi said, the Patriots don't have the best weapons. Bourne Ultimatum is somewhat explosive, but other than that. Ramondre Stevenson has been pretty solid as of late, but I'm still give me that Bills -2.5 at home.
Yeah. I don't got to pick. All I got to say is how long can you continue saying that they don't have weapons when they're 8-4 and they're averaging like 28 a game and they're putting up points?
It's true.
So it's interesting. I don't have a pick, but it'd be a fun game to watch.
This is actually supposed to be a snow game, I believe, so maybe the under is in consideration here, especially with the way the Bills have, struggled on offense this year at times. And, yeah, Mac Jones, no weapons. Give me the Bills.
Has Mac Jones played in snow yet? Has he had a snow game?
They had, like, a cold game. There was, like, snow coming down, but it wasn't sticking last week.
Yeah.
All
right, well, I do want to get to the game of the week for the podcast. I want to get Dallin thoughts first just because he's the neutral third party here.
True.
We can expect what myself and Big Dawg has to say. So, Dallin.
All right. Well, to start it off, guys, I'm going to have to side with Kyle on this one. The Niners are certainly on the upswing right now. They've been playing infinitely better than this awful Seahawks team that I've had to watch for the past 6 weeks. Geno Smith looks fucking terrible when he was in there. He was a cover god, though. Russell Wilson, absolutely looking like he should retire. Ciara needs a fucking baby daddy here. I don't know. He's just not playing well. The Niners don't have Debo, Fred Warner as well, but I think that ground game just pounds them into submission. Elijah Mitchell has been extremely, extremely good for them recently. And, like Kyle says, the Seahawks are a bottom 10 team right now, probably.
I believe we're actually lower than that. We're probably bottom 5, record-wise. Talent-wise, top 10 though.
Maybe in a couple positions.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I don't think Russell Wilson's a top 10 quarterback currently.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying overall talent. If we're evaluating right this second, Russell Wilson is a 33rd overall quarterback. But if you take Russell Wilson's body of work, they're a very talented team.
Yeah, 33rd out of 32 quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks.
Speak very interestingly for how you feel about this game.
Give your take. Give your take.
2.5-point favorites.
Give your take.
You've got money line here.
Yeah, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first let me say this: the Seahawks are a 3-8 team. Obviously, have had some struggles. Russell Wilson probably the biggest struggle of them all. Their defense has actually played well recently, but Russell Wilson is just absolutely nowhere to be found. It looks like his mind is wandering places. But one of those 3 wins was against the 49ers. So I don't know how you want to feel about that, but it wasn't very close. And in that game, we actually had like 6 3-and-outs in a row, and that game was still like a 14-point blowout. So, back to my point, the Seahawks have dominated the Niners throughout the years, at least in the past 10 years. I don't know if you have the record here. I believe it's like 15-4, maybe 16-4. And for me, the biggest thing is Russ is playing bad. Like, we win this game if Russ doesn't play like an absolute like lost soul. And even then, we almost still won this game. I'm talking about the last game. The previous games, the defense kept us in the game long enough for Russell to just wake up. He never did. But I think if Russell just slowly progresses, gets his mental a little stronger, he made some good throws last week, then the Niners really don't scare me, especially without Debo and Fred. It'll be interesting to see how the offense looks like without Debo because, contrary to popular belief, the Seahawks are actually decent against stopping the run and have been good against stopping the run, particularly against the Niners. So if you want to rely on that, it's not something that they've succeeded with. I mean, just look at the stats. And George Kittle, the Seahawks are George Kittle poison. He probably has worse stats against the Seahawks than any other team. Although I don't know if that's very comparable because he plays against the Seahawks a lot. But yeah, I'm not sold on the Niners offense. For me, I'm just betting on the Seahawks being Russell Wilson kind of snapping a little bit out of it. Not even playing perfectly, just playing up to an average level. And I think if he plays average, the Seahawks win this game.
An average level.
I mean, he's been playing below average, and they've been close. They've been in all these games. So that's all I got to say.
With the Washington football team and the Jaguars?
We could have beat the Packers, dude. It was 7-0 to like 8 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Well,
you guys couldn't score.
I'm serious. Well, that's because Russell Wilson was terrible. But I'm saying, like, we've been in the games. Russell Wilson has been so bad that we haven't been able to, like, even, like, score. But as long as he could be average, if he's average against the Packers, they win that game.
We lost 17-0.
It was 7-0 until like 7 minutes way through it. The worst pick, one of the worst picks I've seen.
0.
Actually, it might have been no, it wasn't even 7-0. It was 3-0. It was 3-0 until like 8 minutes.
You guys lost to Colt McCoy at home. He lit you up for like 328
you were
yards.
Laughing at us. The Niners lost to Colt McCoy, and then what do you know? Same thing happened.
Hey, that Niners game was probably worse, dude.
I want to get in a few words here. You bring in a lot of interesting,
the Niners game was worse.
A lot of good numbers that were related all to the past years. Has no idea how that affects this game. Really interesting points.
Same coaches, same scheme.
10 years. I don't know how 2005 relates.
Same
to
coaches,
today,
same scheme.
You talk about the run game. We were missing our top 4 running backs the first time we played the season. We lost by 7. I don't know if that's really a blowout.
They had a garbage time touchdown with 2 minutes left.
That's still 7.
I said basically a 14-point blowout.
Seahawks, I don't know what you mean contrary to the popular belief. Contrary to popular belief of statistics and numbers that show that they're like not a great team against the run. The Niners are gonna be able to move the ball handedly with Elijah Mitchell back. We were running Trey Sermon, our 5th string running back, the first time we played. Our offense is the 4th highest graded offense in the league over the course of the whole entire season right now. I don't know what contrary belief you're talking about. Jimmy Garoppolo, since week 7, has the highest QBR in the league. That's a hot take.
We're pulling out QBR and PFF grading right now.
Okay, I'll talk about time of possession then. You talk about time of possession for Washington football team and stuff. That's a good stat. Well, the Seahawks rank dead last.
For the under. Yeah, there's a good stat for the under.
Margin for their their time of possession, negative 11 minutes and 57 seconds. To give you a little synopsis, the next worst team is the Jaguars at minus 5 minutes. That's a very, very big gap. The Niners, 8th in the league at plus 209 on the season, and in the past 3 weeks, plus 1621. I think the Seahawks at one point when they were playing I think it was when they were playing the Jaguars. There's like a stat, their last 8 possessions had totaled 14 and a half minutes or something. And then the Niners had a 13-minute possession against the Jaguars alone. They had three 18-plus play drives in the last couple of games. It'll be interesting without Fred Warner for sure. But you guys don't really have a running back. You don't really have a good quarterback right now. I just don't see how we should lose this game. This is also just a must-win game. We can't be losing these tragic games to bottom 5 teams. I know you want to bring in the history of we're 15-4 of the past 10 years, but I don't really see how that relates here. But I guess we'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, I think we will see. I think you brought in a lot of invalid points, but we'll see on Sunday what happens.
I just put statistics out. I just wanted to give you those statistics because you were contrary to the belief of the statistics.
All right, boys, let's wrap it up. Akahi, give us a little sign off.